Hello, everyone. It is currently January 5th, so it is essentially Election Day in 2021 in the United States of America. Today I'll be making my first and final, I haven't made anyone prior to this, Georgia special election race predictions. For both of the seats in Georgia, obviously, I could be off in them. They're going to be very close races, so um, yeah, they. Never mind. I'm like that somebody. Yeah, I could definitely be off on these races, and I acknowledge that. However, I am going to obviously be picking who I think is going to win these races, and I will do the tilt lean likely, um, margin. And if you don't know, this is what I'm going to be characterizing each thing as. Tilt will be 0 from 0.1 to 1%. Lean will be 1 to 5%. Likely will be 5 to 15, and safe will be 20 plus. So I'm going to be going through the first race first, which is going to be David Perdue versus Jon Ossoff. So, if you go back to the 2020 actual election, David Perdue actually did get a majority of the vote cast, or not a majority, but a plurality of the votes cast. However, he did not break the 50% mark, which meant that his race would go to a runoff election in Georgia. He did end up winning, or I guess you could say he ended up winning that race, even though he didn't get 50% by 1.5 points. But, he got 49.7% of the vote in Georgia. That is not 50% of the vote, so it goes to a runoff election. Let's first characterize the Georgia at-large race. This race, I think, is going to be less close than the special election, which I think is going to be a lot closer. But for the at-large race, I see Georgia going lean Republican to David Perdue. He's a popular incumbent. He did win in 2014 by 8 points. I obviously understand the demographic shifts. Joe Biden ended up winning this race in 2020, about a few months ago, by 0.24%. So not by a large margin. And I do think there's going to be increased Republican enthusiasm, especially after Joe Biden was elected. And I do see David Perdue winning it by probably the same margin he won it in 2020, now 2021, by around 1.5 points. As for the Georgia special election, both of those people are highly unpopular. When you look at Raphael Warnock, there's a very high unfavorability of rating of Raphael Warnock, and the same with Kelly Loeffler. Though both candidates are a lot more hated, Kelly Loeffler, you could say, is a lot more robotic. She doesn't really have as much charisma as other Republicans or just regular candidates. And Raphael Warnock is more of a, I guess you could say, radical candidate. He does have, there are clips of him saying things that I think the majority of people would consider out of the mainstream, I guess you could say. But for the Georgia special election, obviously Republicans keep the majority with 51 seats, barely a majority. Maybe 52. We'll see what happens in a second. But keeping a 51 seat majority, nonetheless, or a majority nonetheless, which is going to be harder for Democrats. But with the Georgia special election, I do see Kelly Loeffler edging it out just because Raphael Warnock's very, very large unfavorability rating. And frankly, I just don't see him winning that race. If one Republican's going to win, I think the other Republican's going to win. Georgia is not going to be split ticket voting. That just will not happen. I'm almost confident. So if one Republican wins, the other Republican's going to win, in my mind. If Jon Ossoff ends up winning, then Raphael Warnock's going to end up winning. So I'm honestly getting a 50-50 chance with both races, but I do see both of them continuing to go to Republicans as I predicted they would go in 2020 for my final Senate prediction, which you can take a look at on my YouTube channel. Anyway, this is my final Senate election map. I know I waited to the very last second to make this prediction. However, it has been made. We are now in the 117th Congress, however, which is kind of cool. But 52 to 48 Republicans maintain their Senate majority. And yeah, they maintain their Senate majority. And that is it. Democrats will have the House and the presidency, while the Republicans keep the Senate. the Democrats could get the Senate. If one of the candidates wins, I think the other one will win. Anyway, this is just my short prediction video. I don't really want to make this long. I don't want to edge us out. I just want to make this short and simple, and you guys can get my understanding of the race. Hopefully, I'll be coming out with more videos in the next day. It's a bit late right now, so I'm trying to be a bit quieter. But in the coming days, I obviously are going to be talking about 2021 elections, the mayor of New York City, along with a bunch of other interesting elections, some governor elections, and just the dynamic of how 2022 is going to go, and 2024 presidential election, because that is what's up next. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Make sure to subscribe and like the video. Have a nice day.